Hello stamping friends, and welcome back to the final video in the January 2015 online card class. We're going to be putting this card together, and I love this card. And the reason that I love this card is because it's a note card. You know, sometimes you just need a little note card. You don't want to send a big card, or you just want to use it with a gift or something like that. You just want a small note card. So you'll see the dimensions in your PDF that I just showed you, but this is a smaller card. So you get the cardstock that's already been cut for you. You'll get two pieces of designer series paper. One is longer than the other and fatter. You'll get your envelope, and then you will get a piece of the baker's twine, but like I said on the other videos, I already have mine on there. And then again, we're using the Crazy About You stamp set that you were told that you would need to complete this class. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our flower, and I have a piece of scrap paper underneath because I'm going to actually be stamping off the edge of the card. This scrap paper underneath belongs to, it's just a piece of the grid paper that is huge that Stampin' Up! Sells. And all I did for the video was just cut it into fourths, and then I can just reuse it, and it fits on my paper piercing mat just perfectly. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to ink up the Daffodil Delight with my flower, and I'm going to stamp in the corner. Now, remember our friends from previous videos? The masks, okay? So I want to mask off my flower so that I can stamp my leaves. And I'm going to turn this just a bit so that I have a better angle. And I'm using Old Olive to stamp my leaves, I mean. Okay, so there we have that. And I don't really want any more on there. You could, I guess, if you wanted to, but I don't want that. I'm going to take my larger piece of designer series paper. Oh, I like that side. Decisions. You'll have to decide which one you want to use when you get yours, because that's the beauty of our designer series paper, is that it is two-sided. So this fits just nicely right there. Then I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to turn this piece into a banner. Cut up the middle, cut from either corner, and there we have it. Now I could staple this if I want to, but I don't want to. I'm going to use, I really like that side. I'm going to use that side. See how fun? You get to decide. Your card's going to look different than mine. So now I'm going to come up right about here and put that on. Let's talk about the stamp set a little bit. If you have not used photopolymer stamps, I want to talk to you a little bit about a few things. First of all, I mentioned earlier that if you can't see the words, sometimes it helps to put it down on a piece of paper. And I am looking for birthday. So there's my birthday. So you just pull these sheets apart. And sometimes they're pretty sticky. So you just pull it apart and then get your word off. Okay, so I'm pulling off birthday. When you're done, after you're done stamping, I never, ever, ever take it off the block and lay it on my table, because I will lose it. I take it off the block and I put it back on my sheet, or, pull the sheets apart and put it back in there, because I've lost other stamps before, and so these are even harder to see because they are clear, all right? So just a few tips about the photopolymer stamps. All right, so here's another little tip for you. Remember our scrap piece of paper that you get in your kit? I want to stamp birthday, and so I'm going to use one of my edges instead of coming up here and stamping and then having to cut out the whole word. Use the edge to your advantage, all right? I'm going to use the black memento. You can use any color you want. I'm going to stamp birthday, and I want a banner on the left side. Do a little banner tail. So So that's what I mean. I left some room here so that I could do my banner tail. And now I'm just going to take my snips. I trust myself to cut with scissors. You could use the paper trimmer if you want to, but I just think it's hard. Some of these pieces are pretty small, and maybe I just have fat fingers or something, but I would prefer to just use. Let me fix that a little bit. Okay, so now we have our birthday, and we're going to put a little bit of snail on there. And I'm going to put it right in the middle. There we go. All right, so I mentioned that you get a piece of baker's twine. You can take your baker's twine and wrap that around and tie it. And I'm going to tie it in a bow. I love the baker's twine. It's a little bit of bling, a little bit of accessory, and not too bulky. You got to watch the bulk when you're mailing cards because post office wants to charge you if it's thicker than, I believe, 1/4 of an inch. They have this little thing at the post office and they run it through, and if it won't fit through, then they charge you more money. So just keep that in mind when you're making your cards. Okay, so turn that a little bit and trim off a little bit more. Okay, so now we have that. So now all we have to do is add our happy. And I want to talk to you a little bit. When I ran, the first video I showed you how to run these through the Big Shot using the wax paper. When you do the black, you might get, and I know you're not going to be able to see this on the video. I don't know, maybe, let's see. Nope, can't see it at all. Okay, so you can see wax paper, okay? So you can kind of flick that off, but just be mindful that you may have some wax paper hairs, or I don't know what you want to call that, but just little remnants of wax paper. So I don't think it really hurts it, especially when you put it on white, you can't tell it. But I just wanted to mention that because I found myself trying to get the wax paper off. All right, so we're going to use our silicone mat again. Okay. And we're going to put happy, and it'll be happy birthday. How cute is that? Oh, but wait, we're not done. You're going to be doing some stamping on the inside. We haven't done that in a while. So we're going to take our flower and we're going to just stamp on the corner. We're going to use our mask again. Got to get a good use out of these masks. We work hard to make them. So let's turn this like this. Ink up our leaves. And, whoops, I didn't push that down, did I? Let's try that again. Oh, I know why. Oh, I love it when I make mistakes, and then I can tell you. Remember when we cut out the flower, we used the piece that had the Post-it note? My Post-it note was stuck over here. It wasn't on the card. See? All right, so now I'm going to just take this and I'm going to put some leaves right here. And I picked up my mask. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is I took the word to out of the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp 2. Okay, and then I have my U, So let's get our silicone mat out again. Turn that over. Now, before I go any further, I missed my leaf a little bit. I didn't press down far enough. So if you do that, if you don't have a Stamp-A-Majig, I'm going to go back and use the Stamp-A-Majig, but if you don't have a Stamp-A-Majig, hey, just take that word and put it over there. Nobody will ever know. Oh, unless they're watching your video, then they'll know. But just a little tip for you so that you don't stress out if you mess up your card, because this is the last thing we're doing. So you don't want to go, oh, great, I ruined the whole card and I was almost done. So I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to show you how it looks. To you. Okay, so maybe you can see a little bit of the leaf, but I'm not going to stress over it. And I don't want you to stress either. These are handmade cards. And if I got stressed about that, I probably wouldn't even be able to make the videos because I can't, nobody's perfect. So don't worry about it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed these cards this month, and we will see you in February.